like a good serial killer documentary. He hasn't taken the pounding that wide receivers take.
It's just a pound job, and guys are tired towards that 4 minutes.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
I would be lying to you if I said I had not heard things. They're like a bad rash. You hear a lot of things. Some are true, some aren't.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us as we embark tonight. Week 8 of the National Football League gets underway in less than 15 minutes. The Minnesota Vikings, the Los Angeles Rams, kick off Week 8 of the NFL. Of course, the Jaguars and the Green Bay Packers Sunday at 1 o'clock. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. The Jaguars at 2-5, Green Bay at 5-2. And I've been saying all week, this game to me, and I hope this is the case, I'll get more into this in a moment. This game to me reeks of trap game, sandwich game vibes for Green Bay. Green Bay, an emotional win at home last week over a really good Houston team, last-second field goal. Green Bay's got a huge division matchup against Dan Campbell in Detroit a week from Sunday back at Lambeau. Tom Brady on the call, Fox 425. But here in the middle of that, between Houston and Detroit, is the 2-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. A Jaguar team that looked good last week, arguably played their best all-around game, and is obviously desperate for a win. So we'll get more into Green Bay and Jacksonville coming up in just a moment. In fact, this entire first hour, or most of it, will be all Jaguars and Packers coming up in less than 15 minutes. Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. You get him every week here on Hacker After Dark. Always love talking ball with Cecil. We will review New England. We will preview Green Bay. And we will do that with Cecil Shorts coming up in less than 15 minutes. Also, Leroy Butler, Pro Football Hall of Famer, one of the best safeties to ever play in the National Football League. Obviously a Packer great. We'll talk with Leroy Butler about his Green Bay Packers. We'll also spend some time with Leroy Butler about Florida State and Miami as his alma mater, the Florida State Seminoles, look to pull off what arguably would be the biggest upset in this history of that series. They're a 3-touchdown-plus underdog going to Coral Gables Saturday night, and we'll talk with Leroy Butler about all of that. And that's actually where I want to begin. We'll do Jaguars-Packers in just a moment, but I want to begin with a couple thoughts on Florida State and Miami. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
I'll tell you what else is a big deal, real quick. Now, I'm not going to get into it, who I voted for and that sort of thing, but I took advantage of early voting. Man, that was piece of cake today. I was in and out of there in 10 minutes. And then the good thing was, saw a lot of people over in the Mandarin area that were doing the early vote deal. So, yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there. My wife and I got it knocked out, 10 minutes in and out, bam, good to go. So, rock the vote, man. We are, 12 days? Yeah, 12 days away from Election Day, and to me, early voting is always the way to go. That's your political big deal of the night. Of course, we do sports big deals of the night every night here on Hacker After Dark. And there are a couple of them tonight. We'll get into the Jaguars and the Packers in one moment. Before we get there, let's talk about Florida State and Miami. Florida State is awful. All right, let's just be point blank, period, honest. They're awful. They're 1-6, and quite frankly, they're lucky to be 1-6. Because you could argue Cal outplayed them, yet Florida State still won the game for their only victory of the year. The season has been a loss. The season has been disgusting. The season has probably at this point already been a failure, and you could legitimately argue, there is a legitimate argument to be had that Florida State is the worst Power 4 team in America right now. There's a legit argument there. And I'm not saying all this to pile on. What I'm saying all this in regards to is, if you go to Coral Gables on Saturday night, which I don't believe you will, but stay with me here. College football. Crazier things have happened over the years. If Florida State goes to Coral Gables on Saturday night, ESPN, 7 o'clock, and knocks off the top 10 ranked undefeated Miami Hurricanes, is that a season saver? Does that right all the wrongs of what has been probably the worst Florida State football season I've seen in my lifetime, and I'm 40 years old? I'm not old enough to remember 1979. I wasn't born. I'm not old enough to remember the late 70s, early 80s. Pre-Bowden, right? I guess Bowden got there mid to late 70s. There were some bad times in Tallahassee, no question, but in my 40 years on planet Earth, I can't ever remember a year as bad as this. And yet, if they go to Coral Gables and they beat Cam Ward and Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes, whew, what a win. Season saver right there. Monumental task for Florida State. Monumental. Not only is Miami basically better at every position on the field, Miami's got an awful lot more to play for. And Miami has the motivation of knowing Florida State kind of ran it up on them 2 years ago in Coral Gables. You talk to Miami fans, you talk to Miami players that were on that team, there is a thought that Florida State in that 45-3 drubbing might have been pouring it on in the fourth quarter. My Miami buddies remember that. You know Mario Cristobal remembers that, and I guarantee you the Miami players remember that. The shoe is completely on the other foot this year. You get the sense that Miami might not stop scoring in the fourth quarter if it gets to that point. It would be a season saver, but come on, let's be realistic. How many people can honestly pick Florida State here? On what basis would you actually pick Florida State to win this game? If you're a Florida State fan and you honestly think that they're going to beat Miami, I'd love to hear from you on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. And if that happens, I'd also like to get some lottery numbers from you for next week. Give me Miami. I'll say 38-17. Florida State might score a couple of late touchdowns against the Miami backups. Miami 38, Florida State 17. I think Miami rolls. That brings me to the Jaguars and the Packers on Sunday. 2-5, the Jaguars need it. No doubt about it, the Jaguars need it. Trap game for Green Bay, validity to that, absolutely. I've brought that up all week. You beat Houston, great game last week. You got Detroit next week at Lambeau. Sandwiched right in the middle is this 2-5 Jaguar team here in Jacksonville. I think there is reason to think it's a trap game. There is reason to think Jacksonville's desperate. There is reason for all of that. Yet the one thing I cannot shake, the one thing that I just can't get out of my mind, is for basically the last calendar year, anytime a good team comes in to Everbank Stadium, they beat the Jaguars. The Jaguars haven't won a consequential home game, you could argue, since the Charger game in the playoffs. All the home wins last year, I wouldn't call them consequential. You know what was consequential? The 49er game, right? The Raven game. The Bengals game. You could argue the Texans game last year. They lost all of them at home. All of them. Their only home win this year came against a backup quarterback and a backup running back for the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts still put 34 on them, and the Jaguars had to survive at the end. Until Jacksonville wins a consequential game at home, I can't pick them to win at home. They haven't done it. They let us down for San Francisco, for Baltimore, for Cincinnati, for Houston last year. Time and time and time again. Kansas City last year as well. That's another one. At some point, they will win a game of substance at home. Law of averages tells you at some point it will happen. But in good conscience, I can't pick them to win a game of at home of substance until I actually see it. Green Bay's good. Green Bay's got a prolific passing attack. Green Bay's got a really good front seven. It's a bad matchup. Bad matchup. I hope I'm wrong. And we're going to be doing the fifth quarter on Sunday, and I really hope to be wrong. But for the here and now, give me Green Bay 27. Give me Jacksonville 20. Give me the Packers by a touchdown. I think Green Bay comes in here and they get it done. And I'll tell you this, if you're going to the game and you know this, brace yourself, man. There's going to be 30,000 Green Bay fans in there. Denmark, I don't think I'm exaggerating. There may be as many Green Bay fans in there as Jaguar fans. It is going to be nauseating, the amount of Green Bay Packer fans in that stadium on Sunday.
No, we've seen this the last couple of years when the Cowboys came to town and the Niners.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Too. All the teams that have been around for over, 50, 60 years, they always have a big fan base. The Raiders were another one.
And they're not all Packer fans that live here. I know Green Bay fans in Tampa. I actually got a buddy in Orlando, and they're all traveling up, man. It's not just Packer fans in Jacksonville. It's Savannah, maybe Atlanta, Tampa, Orlando, Tallahassee. They don't get to see their beloved Packers very often, obviously. So they're all going to be making the trip. The city will make good money on restaurants, hotel rooms, etc. They're getting a lot of people traveling in here. But there is going to be a ton of green and cheese in that stadium. The good thing is, in my interaction with Packer fans, they're salt of the earth people. They're not Philadelphia. They're not Buffalo. I'll tell you, those are the two worst fan bases that at least I interacted with sitting in section 432, row W, seats 20 and 21 for all those years. Cleveland was pretty bad, too. Cleveland, Buffalo, Philadelphia were horrendous, at least my experience with them. My experience with Green Bay was very pleasant. There's good folks to follow the Packers, but unfortunately, I get the feeling they're going to be celebrating. If I'm wrong, and I hope I am, we'll be lighting up some victory cigars Sunday afternoon. We're doing the fifth quarter at Island Girls Cigar Bar over on Gate Parkway. We'll be on 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Packers go final. We should get underway right about 6 o'clock or so. The Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, the head coach Dave Campo, and myself, the fifth quarter again, Island Girls Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Packers go final. Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts joins me next. Before we get there, we are givers here on Hacker After Dark, man. It's what we do. The hard-working men and women of Northeast Florida. We thank you for listening to the radio program each and every night. And Dylan Denmark on this special Thursday evening, the 24th day of October. What do we have for the folks this evening?
I got a pair of tickets to the City of Jacksonville's fall exhibition baseball game. The JU Dolphins and the Florida Gators will play a baseball game next Friday, November 1st at 1-1 Financial Ballpark. Give me a call at 904-641-1010.
904-641-1010. Caller number... Denmark was giving me grief about 4. How about this, Denmark?
Yeah, what you got?
How about 7? We'll switch it up.
All right,
Caller
cool.
7 at 641-1010. If you want to go see a little exhibition baseball the night before Florida, Georgia next week, downtown at 1-1 Financial Ballpark, give Dylan Denmark a call right now, 641-1010, and we will send you to JU Florida baseball next Friday night. Cecil Shorts, former Jaguar wide receiver, next on a Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark.
It's more than just filling the stat sheet. It's the guy who makes the universal difference.
Breaks free, cuts back, and grabs a man for a touchdown.
The the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 24th, 2021, Tom Brady becomes the first quarterback in NFL history to record 600 touchdown passes when he hits Mike Evans in the first quarter of the Buccaneers game against the Chicago Bears.
Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. Proud partner of the Florida Gators.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro-Jax Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at projaxroofingfl.com.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Hello there, Brendan from Play It Again Sports here to congratulate all the parents for surviving another summer. The kiddos are back to school, and you know what that means? Sports are back. But don't fret, Play It Again Sports has the gear you need at prices worthy of excessive celebration. From sluggers and shooters to clappers and benders, Play It Again Sports can turn your kids into goats. Stop in today on Merrill Road near 295 or online at playitagainjacks.com.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Small business, big target. DoubleCheck provides AI-powered cybersecurity solutions to small businesses so you can keep your eye on the ball. Book your free consultation this month for 10% off your first 6 months. Visit doublecheck.com today.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Packers, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. Green Bay, one of the best teams in the NFC, coming in at 5-2. The Jaguars at 2-5, but coming off a much-needed victory last Sunday over the New England Patriots. Let's talk to a man that played 4 years right here in Jacksonville, part of a 7-year NFL career. That's, of course, former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Cecil, how are you, my friend?
RG, I'm good, man. Always good to talk to you after a Jags win, so that's exciting.
Oh, it was a much-needed victory. And, Cecil, you could kind of tell this week that the weight is off the shoulders, whatever verbiage you want to use. Will it mean anything, come Sunday against Green Bay? Who really knows? But, boy, everybody in that locker room needed a win, and they got a much-needed one last Sunday.
Well, I tell you what, anytime you get some momentum, it means a lot to that locker room. Anytime you can get a win, and the win in a way was, I would say, smash mouth football, where your best players are making the plays, where you can just run the ball at will. Basically, 32? No, I guess they scored at the end, but a bunch of back-to-back touchdowns. Your second quarter, the explosion you had there was amazing to see. So anytime you get a big victory like that, no matter who you're playing, the next opponent that's coming up, you feel confident going into it.
Cecil, everybody in the city this week is talking about Tank Bigsby and Brian Thomas, and I want to get to those guys with you. But first and foremost, I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence. Are his stats mind-blowing? No, they're not. But what I will say is primarily the last 3 games, maybe even go back to the last 4, back to the Houston game. Trevor's playing better. All right, now, 9 touchdowns, 3 picks. I think he's got 1,500-plus yards on the year. Certainly, Trevor, there was some down times at the end of last year and the beginning of this year, but in the last 3 or 4 weeks, maybe he's turning a corner a little bit.
He's getting more comfortable, but the run game is getting better, too. You got Tank and you got Travis back there, whether it's both playing or one playing, they're both playing at a high level. And that takes pressure off of Trevor, and he's been settling in, man. They're doing a good job with the motions and the shifts and making sure he's seeing the field well. So it's no surprise there. Not the stat, like you said, the stats aren't mind-boggling, but he's playing efficient football. No turnovers. I don't think he was sacked last week. Getting the ball out quickly. He's doing a heck of a job, man. And then he's able to use his feet. I think the biggest thing with Trevor, if he can continue to stay healthy, man, he can down the line really, really play some really good football.
Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Cecil, you know as well as anybody, man, you can have the best wide receivers, the best running back, and the best quarterback on planet Earth. Doesn't really mean a whole lot without the offensive line. And even though Cam Robinson left only a couple of plays in, Walker Little came in last week, played really well. I think in 2 of the last 3 games, the opposing defense, which was Indianapolis and New England, coincidentally enough, the 2 victories, they did not touch Trevor Lawrence behind the line of scrimmage. You can really tell that that offensive line is leading to a lot of this.
They are doing a heck of a job. They're taking some pride into it, man. So anytime you keep your guy upright, it gives him the confidence to, guess what, I can go from my first read to my second read, even my third read without anybody in my face. Then I feel confident looking down the field and making a good throw. I feel confident making an accurate throw. I feel confident delivering the ball to whoever I need to deliver it to. And you can tell he's confident too. There's a couple of play action passes, long developing plays, even the shot down to Brian Thomas Jr., where he kind of took his time. He's like, okay, I got a little time. I can step into it. I can hitch up and deliver a great ball. So when you have that, builds confidence in your quarterback that he can make any throw.
You know, I asked you this a couple of weeks ago regarding Tank Bigsby, but it's even more prevalent now, so I'd like to elaborate on it. You live this life going from your rookie year to your second year. I mean, there's a legitimate argument, Cecil, that the last 3 games, Tank Bigsby's been a top 5 running back in the NFL. 2 100-yard games, I think 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. I mean, the quantum leap, the Grand Canyon-sized leap from where Bigsby was a year ago to where he is now gets more and more startling as the weeks go by.
I tell you what, I had to pick him up on my fantasy team, man. I'm like, this kid is balling. I had to grab him off the bench. But I tell you what, this dude is your second year in the league. Things start to slow down for you. You start to understand, okay, how to be a pro, how to be professional, how to study. For him in this particular offense, okay, how do I read the gaps? When do I cut off this guy? You start to learn your offensive line, and you just build confidence. And as the year went on, he started making play after play, and then it was a couple plays a game, and it was more than a couple plays a game, and he's getting comfortable. Confidence is key, man, and preparation comes from confidence comes from preparation. So he's figuring out how to be a professional and preparing during the week, and it's showing up on Sundays. But he is definitely, in my opinion, one of the top backs. I'm going to say this, one of the top backs in the league right now as the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's playing at an extremely high level. You look at his stats, he's getting after it, man. I'll tell you what, it's a 1-2 punch you have with a healthy Travis and Tank. That's a scary sight for defenses.
A couple more for former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. You talk about confidence. You talk about playing very prolifically. Boy, Brian Thomas Jr., again, 5 for 89 and a touchdown last week, a 2-point conversion as well. Of course, the big 58-yard strike from Trevor Lawrence. Boy, Cecil, I mean, he's top 10 in the league right now in receiving yardage, man. You know, he's being compared to the other rookies like Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison, and I get that. But he keeps this pace up, he's going to start being compared to some of the veterans in this league.
He's on a special pace, man. He is a special talent. The deep pass that he caught, I was so impressed with, because Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback for New England, who was widely regarded around the league as a pretty good prospect, he had his hand in there. Like he caught up to BTJ, got his hand in there, and somehow BTJ was able to hold on to it and make the tough catch. But he is special, man. He's making play after play. He's running good routes. He's getting opens in the right spaces at the right times. You can see Trevor really trust him, and the offensive guys really trust him to make plays week in and week out. And he's on his way, man. He's truly on his way to be one of the better receivers in the league.
You know, I saw this stat, and don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing him to Randy Moss, so I don't want to throw that out there, and people go on Twitter and say, oh, Ryan's saying, you know, Brian Thomas is Randy Moss. I'm not saying that. But I believe the stat was Brian Thomas is the first NFL wide receiver with 30 catches or fewer to start a career with over 500 yards receiving in those 30 or fewer catches. And you have to go back to Moss in 98 to find the last guy to do that. That just goes to show you the big play capability, and you're the perfect guy to ask. You played wide receiver in this league for 7 years. What does it say for a rookie to come in and not be catching 2-yard down and outs, but to be catching 85-yard touchdowns and 61-yard bombs and 58-yard bombs? I mean, the guy is a big play threat every time he has the ball.
Explosive. And I think he's bigger than a deep play threat, right? I think coming out of college, we knew he averaged 21 yards a catch and all these touchdowns, and we knew he was fast. But what I'm impressed with, yes, he can do that, and he's doing that very well, is the intermediate routes. It's understanding where to be on the field and be there at the right timing, right? To make the tough catch. Like, he's becoming a complete receiver in his rookie year, like right in front of our eyes. So, yes, he has that ability to go down the field, which is awesome. You mentioned the Randy Moss stat. I want to see him get even more targets, right? So if he can do that and they can finish that, that can be special. But this dude is something. This dude is something. As he continues to play, he'll get more and more comfortable. But this dude is on his way to be something special, man. I just think when you have him and then Evan Ingram back healthy, along with Christian Kirk and others, you can do something in this offense as far as the passing game.
Quickly, Cecil, to the defense, because I want to get to Green Bay here in a moment. And by the way, there's a huge game in the AFC South on Sunday as well between Houston and Indy I want to dive into with you as we wrap up. Defensively, the Jaguars haven't been great, but they're starting to get a little healthier, Cecil. Tyson Campbell is back. The 21-day window has opened for the return of Foye Oluokun and Andrew Wingard. You look at a guy like Trayvon Walker, and look, we feel horrible what happened to Aiden Hutchinson, but for the first time now, Walker will kind of be out of that shadow of Hutchinson now that he's injured, and I don't know if he's going to play the remainder of the year, and people can actually focus on Walker and not compare him to Hutchinson, and Walker has 16 sacks in his last 24 games. I mean, there are signs of life for the defense, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And the healthier they get, the more you'll see them make plays. I mean, Tyson Campbell almost had a pick last week, right? Great job coming across the field, undercutting that pass. It's good to see him out there making plays. But as you mentioned, the guys are getting healthy. And once they get back in the flow of things and start getting on the field, you'll see more plays being made. But I tell you what, they stifled them that second half of the game. Actually, the second quarter up until the end of the game where they scored at the end of the game. But besides that first quarter, I thought it was a good 2.5 quarters they played, getting off the field, getting pressure on Drake. Now, Drake's not bad. I think I told you that last week. Drake's not bad. He showed some talent, right? He needs a little more help on the outside, but he showed some talent, made some good throws. But the defense will get better for Jacksonville. Continue to bring pressure, continue to get pressure, and things will happen.
Final moments with former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Short. Cecil, you saw this Green Bay team that's coming in here on Sunday up close and personal last week in the win over the Houston Texans. What was your thought on Green Bay and the ball game that they won up there at Lambeau Field?
Green Bay's a good team. They're an interesting team because they don't have from the offensive side, they don't have a number one receiver, but they have a bunch of good receivers, right? And depending on the day, it could be Jaden Reed that goes crazy. It could be Romeo Dobbs. It could be Wicks. It could be whoever is Jordan Love's looking at, right? Depending on what the defense is giving them. They're a very balanced team. Josh Jacobs does a good job running that football, runs hard, finishes runs on the offensive line. They do a good job keeping the pressure away. On the defensive side, it was interesting because they were getting a lot of pressure on Houston with just 4-man fronts. Literally, they only blitzed about 17 to 20% of the game, but they were getting so much pressure on Houston, it frustrated them immensely, right? So they do a good job of their TE stunts with their tackle and ends, switching things up, trying to confuse the linemen. They bring different kind of exotic blitzes. I believe the defensive coordinator is from Boston College the previous year, and he has this kind of college mindset to bring all these kind of exotic blitzes. So Jacksonville has to really be ready for different types of blitzes from the cornerback or the nickelback or the safety or linebacker. They did a really good job when they did blitz, mixing it up and making it hard for Houston to, pick up the blitz or pick up the stunt that's up front. So it'll be a challenge for Jacksonville, but it should be a good game.
See, so one of the things I've brought up this week, and you tell me, is this just media guy talking or is there something to this? Again, you lived this life for 7 years in the National Football League. Houston and Green Bay, emotional win for the Packers last week, last second field goal. A week from Sunday, Green Bay hosts Dan Campbell in Detroit at Lambeau Field. National TV on Fox. Tom Brady will be in the house, be the biggest game of the week. And sandwiched right in the middle is this trip to 2-5 Jacksonville. Dare I say trap game? Anything to that?
No, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. I think people get excited. They look ahead. It's natural. You see it in college all the time, but you see it in professional sports too. Teams get excited and they look ahead thinking, oh, we'll handle this team. We're not worried about them. And they don't come out and they're not on their P's and Q's. And the next thing you know, they're in the ball game. and you give any NFL team some momentum, anything can happen, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case this week, but I think Jacksonville's going to come out and be ready to go. Like I said, if you get a good win, especially over the pond, no matter who you're playing, and you dominate like you did against New England, you should be confident coming into the next game. Will it be a challenge? Yes, it will be a challenge, but you feel up for the challenge after a win. It's always hard to get up for a challenge after a loss, but after a win, you feel better about yourselves. You kind of get like, okay, got that weight off our shoulders. Let's just go play ball and have fun.
Cecil, as we say goodbye, look, I don't know if I'm going to pick Jacksonville to win. Like you said, Green Bay is awfully, awfully good. But
really
if Jacksonville does win, if they pull the upset, they're the underdog, that gets them to 3-5, and Indianapolis and Houston play. One of those teams, obviously, is going to lose, barring a tie. So if Jacksonville gets to 3-5, the Colts will either be 4-4 or the Texans will fall to 5-3, which Jacksonville would be right back in the mix with 9 games to go. What about Indy and Houston? That's certainly a big one, probably a really big one for the Colts since Houston already beat them once.
Yeah. The Colts need to get this victory to split the season series. Also, but if they win, the Colts I'm talking about, they'll be 5-3, and they'll be tied for the division lead with Houston with 5-3. So they're right back in the hunt with, their star quarterback being out a few games. Now, this week will be good because it'll be interesting to see if Houston can bounce back from their awful offensive performance from the Green Bay week, right? If they can bounce back and do some things. The defense played well, special teams played well, but the offense didn't hold up their end of the bargain. And there was some questionable play calling as well. So it should be a really good game. I'll be honest with you, I'm not afraid or not how do I say this in a nice way? Anthony Richardson is just average at best.
That's
He's
probably
still
putting it
learning
nicely.
how to play quarterback.
Yeah.
He is putting it nicely. I think Flacco gives him a better chance to win easily against anybody they play, right? Because the defense is solid. They got some playmakers outside, but when you put Anthony Richardson back there, it kind of limits what you can do because he's so inaccurate right now. So it'll be an interesting game. It should be a good one, but it's a important game for the AFC South for sure.
Yeah, real quick, you piqued my interest. At some point, now the Colts won last week, so all is right with the world, but Richardson was not good. At some point, that's going to become a problem in that locker room, right? If they lose a couple of games with Flacco sitting over there, and you'd have to think the veterans know exactly what you do.
Oh, absolutely. The veterans know they're a better team with Flacco. That's not surprising at all. As the weeks go on and they can't figure out ways to win with Richardson, then you'll start hearing, okay, why isn't Flacco in the game? Why isn't Flacco in the game? Especially if you're a receiver or a tight end, because it's like, hey, we get the ball more. We can make more plays for the offense if Flacco's back there because he can read the field well. He's a veteran. He's been there. He can throw the ball. He's 49 years old, however he is, and still able to read the defense and put the ball where it needs to be. He's just a pure leader. He did the same thing last year with the Browns, right? He knows how to run the show, which is what you want to see from Anthony. But you got to be patient, right? It's a learning process. But it's hard because it's hard for a guy that's always injured to get better at his craft because you're not on the field getting better. Does that make sense? So just looking at his history, he was injured in college. He was injured in high school. He was injured this year already. It's not even halfway through the year. Missed a couple of games, injured last year. So it's going to be hard for him to get better unless he can stay on the field. If he can stay on the field, you may see something. But if not, I wouldn't be surprised if some rumors start getting out very quickly about Anthony Richardson.
Should be a good Sunday in the AFC South. Indy and Houston. Tennessee goes to Detroit. My goodness, what a beating that should be. And then Green Bay comes to Jacksonville. We'll recap it all next week. Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, thank you as always, brother. Have a great weekend. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good, RG. Go Jags.
There you go. Cecil Shorts with us every week here on Hacker After Dark. That was the Jaguar side of things. We'll get the Green Bay Packers side of things. Also mix in a little Florida State Miami talk with a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Leroy Butler joins me coming up in less than 10 minutes. Week 8 of the National Football League already underway. Good one so far between the Vikings and the Rams. The Vikings had the opening drive. Justin Jefferson, 3 grabs, 44 yards on that opening drive. Ultimately, Sam Darnold hit former Jaguar tight end Josh Oliver for a touchdown. Vikings went up 7-0. Rams drive it right back down. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both active tonight for the Rams. Nacua had a couple of grabs. Ultimately, Stafford to Williams out of the backfield for the score. So a touchdown for Minnesota, followed by a touchdown for the Rams, 7-7. Minnesota, Los Angeles, about 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. We will keep you updated. Let's talk to one of the best safeties that ever played in the National Football League, Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler of the Green Bay Packers, formerly of Florida State. We'll talk about his alma mater heading down to play the Miami Hurricanes as well. That's next on a Thursday night in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark rolls on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Oh, yeah, the injured hamstring. All it takes to spoil the dream is the tweak of a hamstring.
Boy, this is bad news.
Listen for the Farah and Farah injury update.
On 1010XL, Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a gravy taster from Jacksonville, Florida, me, Dennis Mosley. Hi, Ken. Okay, Dennis. 100 plumbers surveyed, top answer on the board. What does it mean if someone says your home has hard water?
It's made of ice? Let's see, hard water. Oh, is it club soda mixed 4-to-1 with vodka?
Last chance, Dennis. What is hard water?
Oh, is it that lime scale stuff that makes my taps all crusty?
That's right, Dennis. And a water treatment system from Bueller Air and Plumbing will eliminate troublesome lime-scale deposits that can ruin your expensive appliances and let your neighbors know for sure that you are cool.
I wonder if I can get me a gin and tonic faucet.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision, and equal opportunity employer.
Hey gang, Prosser here, telling you once again about Chad and Sandy Newman. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. So maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. They can handle that. You see, Chad and Sandy can take every problem you think you have and replace it with a promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. The success stories are rolling in. Mike and Lisa in McCormick. We inherited a family home that came with equity but also a mortgage. We needed to sell fast to avoid extra expenses on a second mortgage. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Everything they say on the radio is true. The home sold in 3 days for full asking price. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's ChadAndSandy.com.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called The Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank NA, member FDIC.
Hey Googans, Dr. Chris Kopp, PT here with Premier Physical Therapy of Jacksonville. Is pain interfering with your life? Looking for a specialist for the rehab of your young athlete? Whether recovering from injury, surgery, or improving overall function, Premier PT Jax provides personalized treatment with compassionate care. My team of experts are ready to serve you at 3 locations: Ponte Vedra, San Pablo, and US 1 Phillips Highway. Visit PremierPTJax.com or call 904-996-6922. PremierPTJax.com, where your journey to wellness begins.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjax.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged-up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass, and he told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Was there ever a pope who was the pope more than once? The answer next.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to ask your agent about your homeowner's coverage. It's time to make the change to Southern Oak Insurance.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
Pope Benedict IX, who is 11 years old, is the only person to be named Pope 2 times.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Packers, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. Green Bay coming in at 5-2, feeling awfully good about a last-second win over Houston. Jacksonville just happy to get back in the win column as they got back in with a win over the New England Patriots. Let's talk about the Jaguars and the Packers. Let's also talk about Florida State Miami with a former Seminole, a former Green Bay Packer, and an NFL Hall of Famer. That is, of course, Jacksonville's own Leroy Butler, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Leroy, how you doing?
Doing good, Ryan. How you doing, buddy?
Leroy, we're good. Thank you for the time, as always. And all right, let's start with the bad, and then we'll get to the good, right? Let's start with Florida State first. Leroy, I mean, you played for some ridiculous teams with Coach Bowden, obviously the history and everything there in Tallahassee. As an alum of the school, what's your thought on what's gone on here in 2024?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is the momentum of the season. Last year was very high. I mean, because we all agreed if Jordan Travis, when they got hurt, we've probably been in that, maybe been in the playoffs. So put that to the side. After that, Ryan, it seemed like the portal has been very good to us. That's how we got the Keon Coleman's of the world. When DJ came in, I really didn't know a lot about him. I really didn't. So you have to rely on the school and the coaches to coach him up. And to say it's a disappointment at 1-6, it would be an understatement because of the standard that we've always set at FSU. But at this particular time, there's a few positions you can't miss on. You just can't. And that's defensive line, edge rusher, cornerback, and quarterback. You just can't miss if you want to be in an expanded playoff now. Now it's expanded. It ain't like 4, 5, 6 teams anymore. No, it's, and when you got to be bowl eligible, I think after 5 or 6 wins, to know that you're not going to be that in a bowl when they got so many bowls, Ryan. Me and you may even have a bowl out there, so many bowls. I mean,
yeah.
It's very disappointing. It is disappointing, but you also have to look at the reality of it is, how do you move forward with the team next year? You got to do what you've always done. You got to figure out a way to get your quarterback in there, going to be there for the future. Recruiting has to be at a higher clip. And playing people like Miami, that's how you get the big recruits, okay? Because you throw all the records out when you play the Hurricanes. Now, full disclosure, some of my best friends are Hurricanes, like Michael Irvin, of course, the Blade brothers. But when we played these guys, we don't know what our record was, and we didn't know what theirs was. We just know if we beat Miami, everybody feels like they're on the same page.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler here with us. And you mentioned Miami and final Florida State thought before we get to Green Bay. Look, as improbable as it is, and it's improbable, you know that, right? I mean, you're a 21-point underdog. But stranger things have happened. Sports is the ultimate reality show. We've seen stranger things happen. I mean, this would be a season saver, right? If Florida State were to go to Coral Gables and win. I don't think many people are predicting that, but man alive, Leroy, if it does happen, what a win that would be.
I'll tell you what, for Mike Norvell, who I respect a lot, I just love the guy. I mean, he's a leader. He's been in a position to win a lot of big games. This would wouldn't put the fire out, Ryan, but it'll put the blaze out. How about that? I mean,
hey, look,
you still
Miami's very good. I mean, don't get me wrong, top 10 team.
Good.
Florida State struggling. And I'm sure you know Mario Cristobal. I'm sure you've crossed paths with him and, at some point.
Yes.
It's a recruiting situation, right? You can't blame him. You get the sense that if Miami has the opportunity Saturday night, Leroy, they might try to make a statement against Florida State.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it. If they can score 75, they're going to do it. They're going to do the same thing that Detroit tried to do to the Dallas Cowboys. Some teams, their foot is on the gas. There is no brake in the car. It's always on the gas. So that's Miami, because I remember when Miami was a reciprocal. Miami was losing games, losing recruits. Now Miami has come up and Florida State has come down. But again, you recruit now for next year. So, these are the games that the recruits want to come to, whether you're in Miami or Florida State. You get your top recruits, your 5-letter guys, the 5-star guys. I mean, all that. They come in on this weekend to see Miami and Florida State because they've heard about the rivalry. So you just hope your leaders on the team, and it is a few, get together and let the kids know, hey, listen, throw out the records. We're trying to beat Miami.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler here with us. After your days at Florida State, you obviously went on to have a ridiculous career with the Green Bay Packers. Your Green Bay Packers come into your hometown here in Jacksonville on Sunday, Leroy. The game will be aired right here on 1010XL Radio. You actually have a couple of events scheduled that we want to tell people about with the Packers and the Jaguars doing battle on Sunday. But quickly to Green Bay, I mean, I don't know how they do it up there. Right from your former teammate Brett Favre, Hall of Famer, to Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. And now you got a kid in Jordan Love who is just a ferocious beast as well. I mean, you're talking 4 decades of crazy good quarterback play. Jordan Love looks like the next in a line of great quarterbacks up there on the frozen tundra.
Well, it does help us say that we're quarterback you. I get it. But here's why that we're in this position. I remember Brian Gutekunst, our general manager, in 2020, the pandemic's about to hit the following year. And he said to himself, I want to be good in 2023 and 24. I'm going to get me a quarterback. Matter of fact, I'm going to move up to get him. And yes, he did not go to Alabama, Ohio State. He went to Utah State. It's Jordan Love. And people are like, what are you doing? Get Aaron Rodgers another receiver. Get him this. Get him some weapons. He's MVP. I get that. But why can't I do both? Why can't two things be true? Have a great quarterback and develop a quarterback in waiting. That's the reason why the Packers have done this. A lot of teams They don't do that. They just put all the eggs in one basket, including the chicken. You got to win now. Who cares about the future? What a fan base like ours, Ryan, we don't have an owner. We have shareholders. And I'll be fair, some of the shareholders didn't necessarily like the pick, but they love it now. Leads the league. I think he's tied with Baker Mayfield with touchdowns. But he does, at times, give you an opportunity to get interceptions, I think. So we got to calm that live arm down, but we are set for the next decade for sure.
One of the things I love about Green Bay is you always talk about wide receiver one, right? We hope we have that here in Jacksonville with Brian Thomas, and I want to talk to you about him in a moment. Yeah, I know you're a big fan of his. Green Bay, Leroy, you got like 5 guys that there's no selfishness up there. There's no ego up there. The wide receivers, it's one guy one week, it's another guy the next week. It's almost refreshing in a way to see the way Matt LaFleur is running this offense.
No question about it. It's a lot of movement offense. San Francisco runs it with Brock Purdy. When he got all his guys, they move it at a high clip. The thing about it is when you're playing in an offense like this with Tucker Kraft at the tight end position, I mean, Dontayvion Wicks, number 13, he had a hurt shoulder. Romeo Dobbs missed we had to suspend him because he had missed practice. Comes back and caught 3 touchdowns in 2 games. These guys, and really Jaden Reed, our second-round draft pick from Michigan State, he's our move guy. I mean, he's kind of a guy that puts up big numbers. And plus, not to mention, we have Josh Jacobs at running back. And Ryan, I'll be honest with you, through 7 games, the offense still not clicking like they're going to be clicking when everybody gets everything they need. Oh, this offense is going to average 35 points a game. I mean, it's unbelievable. But you can't turn the ball over. You got to run the football, and you can't have drop passes. If you do that, you can beat anybody in this league. But if you don't, you can be beat.
I'll tell you the absolutely crazy thing. Again, final moments with Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler. The NFC North, I mean, it's almost must-win every week. The 4 teams there are insanely good. I mean, Chicago is technically in last place, and they're 4-2 on the year. I mean, there are really 4 good teams in that division.
Ryan, that's why I like being on your show on XL, 1010 XL. You have amazing questions, and you're smart. Think about this. Everybody used to say the NFC East was the toughest division. Dallas, the Giants, Eagles, and Commanders for years. It's just like saying the SEC is the best college division, but the Big Ten or the Big 12, they just sit back and wait their turn. Well, guess what? The Detroit Lions arguably is the best team in the league. You know, Minnesota just lost the game. They were undefeated. And as you astutely pointed out, Chicago with a rookie quarterback has won 4 games, and we've won 5 games. And Jordan Love missed 2 games. It's the toughest division in football as we stand here and sit today. So whenever you play somebody in the North, you're going to get roughed up, but you also have an opportunity to play a team that you may see down the line in the playoffs. Hey, you never know, maybe in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Jaguars play the entire division. So the Jaguars get to see them all up close and personal, including Green Bay on Sunday. Quickly, Leroy, I want to get to your events that you're going to have here in Jacksonville. But I know in talking to you earlier, we're very high on Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie out of LSU. He's already got over 500 receiving yards in only 7 games as a rookie. You played against the best of the best during your day in the NFL. What's your thought on the Jaguar playmaker there out of LSU?
I'll tell you this, and this can't be overstated enough. One of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in a Jags uniform, Jimmy Smith. The guy you couldn't cover him. Only time you cover Jimmy Smith if you just throw a blanket over him if you catch him sleeping at his house. Otherwise, he's wide open. Yeah, I mean, VT Jr. is going to rival that. This kid is something that I've never even seen at wide receiver. I mean, the speed, the height, the hands, the combination. He just got to get more targets. And the thing about it is he can learn from the vets, the Christian Kirk. And I know Gabe Davis was a big-time free agent. And, of course, Evan Ingram, I think, can rival any tight end, pass-catching tight end. So Trevor has weapons. But in our estimate, what we've been watching on film, Brian Thomas Jr. is probably one of the top receivers since Nico Collins is out at the Texans. He's the guy. People just don't know about it because he's in a small market. But we respect him. And at times, we're going to put Jair Alexander over there and say, man, hold little nephew down over there. Because if he go crazy, I mean, this game can go any kind of way.
Yeah, what we're hoping for here in Jacksonville is we know Green Bay coming off a big win over Houston. They have Detroit a week from Sunday and what will be a big nationally televised game. Dare I say sandwich game coming to 2-5 Jacksonville, right? Sandwiched in the middle. We'll see. You'll hear the game on 1010XL radio this Sunday. Leroy, with your Green Bay Packers coming to your hometown, obviously it's a big weekend for you, and you have some events planned here in town this week. Tell us about them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. Real quick, I do a lot of things with homelessness. So I work with changinghomelessness.org. We have a telethon this Friday that we're going to be making phone calls to raise money for people who need housing. And think about this. For some reason, in the future, you may have to get arrested because you can't afford housing. We want to stop that. What we want to do is help people get into affordable housing, jobs, food for their kids. And this hurricane, both of the hurricanes, made more people displaced. So we don't want to wait till everybody needs help. So we're out in front of it. And then on Saturday, I'll be at the Culver's on 101 Monument Road. For all the Packer fans are flying in, I think on Wednesday through Friday. You can come see me at Culver's. Culver's is one of my biggest sponsors. They help me with the Butler versus Bullying program, and they also have made donations to help people to get housing. So I just appreciate the platform, Ryan, because I try to help as much as I can. Everybody know I'm from Duval. I live in Wisconsin. My older kids live in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. So two things can be true. I love Duval County, and I love the state of Wisconsin.
A great football player, but an even better person. Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler, always kind with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Leroy, appreciate it. We'll certainly promote your events as the week goes on. Best of luck to the Packers on Sunday, and we'll talk soon, my friend.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And to all the Jaguar fans out there, you don't want to be in this coaching loop. You got to keep the coach you have now if you want to see Trevor really blossom. You can't keep giving the guy coaches every few years. You got to stay with Doug Peters and see this thing through. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Appreciate it, Leroy. Thank you so much, pal.
It's the play that influenced the outcome.
Handoff inside. He sees it. Now he goes and gets it. Nice play coming downhill.
Listen for the performance painting high performance play of the game on 1010XL. Performance painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, before the show tonight, I was at the fall festival at Little Hack School, and I saw some people that I hadn't seen in a while. And I'm getting used to the reaction, right? If you haven't seen me in a couple of months, and their mouths just hit the floor, right? I mean, Hacker, what on earth? Awaken 180, I hear you talking about it. How did they do this? Well, it's the best weight loss program I've ever been on. I tell you guys that every night. I've lost 108 pounds with Awaken 180. 108. I've gone from 317. I weighed in this morning at 209. That is crazy. If you need to lose 100 pounds, heck, if you need to lose 20 pounds, any point in between, take it from me, a guy that's lost triple digits on this program. They're life-changing. They're life-saving. They've helped me. They can help you. Trust me. Awaken 180 weight loss.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
The Jaguars are back at Everbank Stadium to go head-to-head with the Green Bay Packers for our crucial catch game. Join us October 27th as we fight cancer through early detection, risk reduction, and awareness all game long. Lock in your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you there.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
Thousands of people in Duval County suffer from Alzheimer's. To join the Walk to End Alzheimer's at UNF, November 9th, visit alz.org/Jacksonville Walk.
You can make a difference in the lives of people living with lung cancer. To join the American Lung Association at the Lung Force Walk at UNF November 16th, log on to lungforce.org/Jacksonville.
The Farm Share Thanksgiving Distribution Drive-Thru event is Saturday, November 23rd at the FSCJ Downtown Campus, starting at 8:30 a.m. until the food runs out. Call 328-6158.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating to a local blood donation center.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gates store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy. And do it today.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This season, check out our revamped website at southernsteerbutcher.com. Click on the Promotions tab and our Jacksonville Weekly Grilling Specials will hit you in the face like a hot route over the middle.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Ackerman Cancer Center offers women's health, diagnostic, and screening services, including contract-enhanced mammography and total body MRI. Early detection is the key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to come out and experience one of the most beautiful and unique golf courses in North Florida. Affordable golf, friendly service, and great times in the Hills Grill after play. Book your tee time, hiddenhillsgc.com.
Ready to sharpen your aim or find the perfect firearm? Come to St. Nicholas Guns and Range for our White Tag sales event. Up to 20% off all White Tag firearms all October, with a huge selection of guns, ammo, and gear, plus Jacksonville's best indoor range for every skill level. They've got what you need to hit your target. If you're a pro or just starting, their friendly experts will guide you at 4630 Blanding Boulevard or online at stnickguns.com. St. Nicholas Guns and Range. Gear up, shoot a lot, shoot better.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Good one going on Thursday night football to kick off Week 8. Vikings-Rams tied 14-14. Sam Darnold, 2 touchdown passes. Matthew Stafford, a couple of touchdown passes, including one to a returning Cooper Kupp, who's back from injury tonight. Puka Nacua has also made a nice impact in his return. Midway through the second quarter, Vikings and Rams tied 14-14 to kick off Week 8 of the NFL regular season. We hope for a good one Saturday night down in South Florida between the Hurricanes and the Seminoles. Hurricanes are a big favorite, man. There is no question about that. We'll talk with both sides of it. Logan Robinson of Knoll Game Day to give us the Florida State side of this game. Adam Lichtenstein of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel to give us the Miami Hurricane side of this game. That's next on a Thursday evening in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark rolls on till 10 o'clock right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Make Friday feel like the weekend.
We're wasting time.
That's why we give you Pre-Game Friday.
Let's do it. Come on.
We'll get you ready for the games. Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and MyBookie on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see. I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 24th, 2021, Tom Brady becomes the first quarterback in NFL history to record 600 touchdown passes when he hits Mike Evans in the first quarter of the Buccaneers game against the Chicago Bears.
Picture this. It's a dark and stormy night, and your toilet is acting possessed. But fear not, for Duck Duck Rooter is here to exorcise those plumbing demons and banish them to the netherworld. So if you're facing a plumbing horror story straight out of a nightmare, summon the spectral expertise of Duck Duck Rooter. Call 904-862-6769 and bid those plumbing phantoms farewell. Duck Duck Rooter, where we tackle plumbing scares so you don't have to.
Nick in here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, you need to get screened for colon cancer. Ask your doctor about getting a colonoscopy. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. Borland Groover recently expanded into St. Johns County. The new and advanced surgery center and medical office is open in Durbin Crossing. Visit BorlandGroover.com for a location near you. Remember, 45 is the new 50. Get screened today with Borland Groover.
Chelsea here. Florida homeowners, are your windows working as hard as they should? With Renewal by Andersen, our energy-efficient custom windows and doors help keep the cool air in during those scorching months. That means lower energy bills and a more comfortable home year-round. For the month of October, Renewal by Andersen has a limited time offer. Buy 4 windows and or patio doors and get the 5th one free. Some restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for all the details. That's bestwindowsflorida.com. License number CGC 1527613.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida State and Miami Saturday night down in Coral Gables. The rivalry is renewed. And boy, what an interesting situation we have. I don't think anybody saw this coming. Miami undefeated, top 10 team in America. Florida State 1-6, off to their worst start in decades, and the Hurricanes opened up as a 21-point favorite. Let's get the Florida State side of this with Logan Robinson of Knoll Game Day. He is certainly one of our guys when it comes to Florida State athletics, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Logan, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Like you said, a pretty awful scene happening in Tallahassee in the football program, and a season that Florida State, Mike Norvell, and fans don't want to ever see again. But the sad part is that you're heading into a latter half of the season that is going to get even harder. So interested to see what comes up this upcoming weekend against a big rival, like you said, with the Miami Hurricanes.
Logan, I'm shocked. I mean, I'm flabbergasted, whatever verbiage you want to use. I mean, you cover the team as close as anybody, and your worst Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees nightmares, if I would have told you 1-6 2 months ago, I mean, you would have never believed that, right?
Not at all. And, that one of the biggest things that comes to mind is starting off with what you had at quarterback. You thought that, you brought in a veteran with DJ, bringing him over from Oregon State, and you thought that you had someone that could just get the ball to playmakers, and that's something Mike Norvell has always praised this program on, is getting the ball to the playmakers, and it was pretty apparent early on that he wasn't able to do that, nor really were the skilled players there on the field helping the quarterback. And this is where FSU's at, and I along with me, the rest of everyone covering this team in Tallahassee, they're in utter shock of what is being displayed out there on the field. And when you see Mike Norvell also on the sideline looking kind of shot almost mentally, it's a scary scene. And like I was saying earlier, we're on to the second half of this season, and it's hard to find another win or 2 wins.
I was talking to a couple of national and regional guys that cover college football, and they kind of echoed what you just said about Norvell. If you look at him on the sideline, he looks kind of tired, right? He looks, just bewildered as to what on earth has happened. I spoke to somebody that even saw him after Ireland in the airport after Georgia Tech and talking to Florida State boosters, and he would just look stunned. Now, these are people's interpretations of his feelings, but these are guys that cover the game that I trust their opinion. I mean, I don't think Norvell had any clue that this was the team he was going to have in 2024. What's your thought there?
No, he looks shocked. He definitely, whenever you go from practices, which I'm not at every practice, but we've got our staff there, and I get told a lot of things. And, I think Mike Norvell is almost in the same boat as fans, which you don't want to be. He's seeing things at practices which seem good. You've got some guys making plays and your defense is looking solid, and guys in the trenches on the defensive side are getting to the quarterback. But then, you get to Saturdays and things like this aren't happening. And he continued to stick with the same arsenal of players, putting them out there and them not making the plays that they should be making. Looking back at some of these guys, starting off with DJ, look at Marvin Jones Jr. from Georgia. There was plays being made in practices, but it doesn't translate to Saturdays. And he did this also with Kyle Morlock, the tight end, who has had plenty of drops throughout this season, but continued to put them out there. And that's where fans got really irritated. And of course, too, when you're talking about the quarterback, the biggest position on a team, and you're continuously trotting them out there when you've got some two younger quarterbacks that also have some talent too, and you kind of are just ready to see the future, but then your head coach is really hard-headed and still sticking to what he's seen in practices, thinking that it will translate on Saturdays. It has just created kind of a really bad environment in Tallahassee, and you're seeing it in the fan base, and you're obviously seeing it on the field. And I think it's also affected the locker room. Mike Norvell is not going to say that, but I think, just from some early social posts and demeanor from players in game, literally, they show you that this team isn't fully connected. And I also don't think this coaching staff is fully connected, and they shouldn't be. All signs show that they probably aren't all connected. You're 1-6. Something is not clicking on all areas of this program currently.
Logan Robinson is the owner and founder of Noel Game Day. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Logan, is it as simple as you live by the transfer portal and you die by the transfer portal? I mean, Norvell I proclaimed him the king of the portal with what he's done with Jared Verse and Jermaine Johnson and Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson on down the line, and it just didn't work this year. Is that as simple as we can make it?
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what we were just talking about on our show last Wednesday night. The transfer portal, I brought this up to our team there. What went wrong this season for Florida State? Well, what happened was you brought in transfers that you expected to immediately jump in and be key factors for you, when some of these guys on their resume didn't show you anything in their previous schools. Yeah, they might have gone to Alabama and they came out as a high blue chip recruit or a 5-star. He went to Georgia like a Marvin Jones Jr., but there's no stats. There's nothing really to back up their claim that they were going to come in and be a pivotal factor for you when you got the game days. You talk about Earl Little Jr., already talked about Marvin Jones Jr. as well. Like some of those SEC top tier kind of product players that you would expect to come in, they expected to come and replace guys like Jarian Jones. You lost Grady Vance in the transfer portal, and he's now at USC doing his thing and balling. You lost a lot of talent this last year, and you thought Malik Benson from Alabama would come in and be that key factor. Malik Benson wasn't the same production like you had when you brought in Keon Coleman from Michigan State. Like, those are two different players. Even, Johnny Wilson had some stats, but still the biggest thing, he had to be developed. But, I think that's the thing. And a lot of these offensive line woes comes with also relying on 1-year veteran guys coming in and making, getting all the playing production that they're expected to have. And right now, I think the biggest concern for me, Ryan, is the offensive line and where that's at, because I think that's going to be the one that tells us what this program is going to be the next couple of years if they don't make changes.
Well, and again, there were some down years towards the end of Bowden, but nothing like this. There were some awful years with Willie Taggart, but really, even then, nothing like this, 1-6. And look, not to pour salt in the wound, but Florida State fans are telling me this, so I'll ask you, it's one thing if you lose to Texas and Ohio State and, Georgia, all right. But you're losing games to Georgia Tech, and the next week Boston College, and the next week Memphis, and the next week SMU, and Duke beats you for the first time ever. I mean, the schedule has not exactly been murderer's row, and even though you're playing young guys and it didn't work out with DJU, you would think talent alone you should beat teams like SMU and Duke, and the fact that that's not happening has got to be pretty concerning.
It's definitely not the greatest feeling in your stomach for FSU fans and people like us on the beat in Tallahassee covering the team who predicted this team to potentially get back to Charlotte, get to that ACC championship, and you finally get that chance of getting into that college football playoff. And I think there's been a big question mark. Did the college football playoff snub really do this to this team? And I don't think so. The message that Mike sent, and we don't know, we're not with the program. Those guys go through practices. They have so many other things that they go on. We're just here covering it. I'm sure it was a heartbreak for them and everything, but the message clearly was changed, and where Florida State, we're back to work. It's a new season. It's a hard reset, and that's what I believe Mike Norvell was trying to give to this team. But he also, like we were talking about earlier, thought he had better product going out onto the field this season, and that just wasn't the case. And losing to these teams, definitely Duke, I think that was one of the most embarrassing losses I've seen in my lifetime. I'm still a youngster, but still covering this team and seeing what they put out there as a product was just something that it's one of the worst teams, the worst team in college football. I don't know how, at least offensively, what we saw. You can't go and lose to Duke like that. And to be honest with you, everybody knows Duke is not a great football team. That's the thing. Like, we would have thought this was I know they're 6-1 now. Congrats to them, but Duke is not a good football team. And you lost to a bad football team. And that just goes to show how really, really bad FSU is, because they have more talent. So at the end of the day, it comes down to this coaching staff and what they thought that they were going to be delivering in 2024. And they were completely wrong, Ryan.
Logan, as we wrap up, again, Logan Robinson, the owner and founder of Noel Game Day. You will be down in Coral Gables Saturday night, Florida State, Miami. This is the perfect storm, right? This is the best Miami team in years. This is the worst Florida State team in years. You get the feeling that Cristobal, because he competes against Florida State on the recruiting trail, if he gets the chance, man, he might run this thing up a little bit. I wouldn't put that past Miami, and I can't say I would blame them. Do you give Florida State a puncher's chance on Saturday night to shock the college football world, or is this a situation where it's going to be Hail Caesar for those about to be slaughtered?
I won't be on here like ESPN First Take. I'm not trying to get the ratings up. I'm sadly won't be able to help you with that, Ryan, and keep the listenership going. I'm going to put it point blank, though. FSU is not going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be close. I think by halftime you might see Luke Kromenhoek in there as well, just because of what Florida State's going to be putting on the offensive line. They have no one to protect Brock Glenn. They have no one there. There's no one there. I don't get how Florida State would even have a chance in this. It sucks to say. I don't think it gets maybe the second quarter. Florida State can show some fight defensively, but I was just talking to our editor-in-chief, telling him, hey, why would the defense want to keep fighting in these games? Why would they, when they know that the offense isn't going to do jack anything? And, looking at the offensive line, there's some more injuries there. They're going to be plugging in players that we've seen in years past that have been brutally awful for Florida State. And, this game is probably going to get ugly, as it should. And Florida State's going to fall to 1-7. And, Mike Norvell's never lost to Mario Cristobal, and that's sadly going to be the case. And, what's crazy to think of, Florida State was in the fighting spot with DJ and Cam Ward to bring them into Tallahassee, and got the visits and everything. And, they had to go with DJ because Cam was contemplating the NFL, maybe more higher NIL pay. and eventually was a later decision to stay in college football and go to Miami. But Mike Norvell put in his presser earlier this week or on Monday talking about this is one of the top quarterbacks in the country, and sure enough they're going to be facing him, and it's a Miami Hurricanes team that is hot right now. They want to put out a statement like you were just saying, Ryan. It comes down to recruiting at the end of the day as well. And they're going to want to put up some points on Florida State on a team that is it's shot and dead at the moment.
Not a lot of optimism, and I don't blame you. But for Florida State fans that want to keep track of your coverage heading into the game Saturday night against the Hurricanes, Logan, what can they anticipate when they head on over to Knoll game day?
Ryan, we'll be live on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. You can just search Knoll Game Day. We'll be live there giving our predictions for this game. But more importantly, though, talking some quick hitters, some of the biggest storylines, staff changes, and some certain things that we'd like to see adjustment-wise going into 2025, because that's kind of where fans' heads are at the moment right now, wanting to already forget what is happening in Tallahassee with this football program. But appreciate you, Ryan, for having me on here. And as always, you can follow us at Knoll Game Day across all socials.
Logan Robinson, the owner and the founder of Knoll Game Day. Logan, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time, brother. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Ryan. I truly appreciate it.
Start game day with Insider Insight and football fun.
Sounds like a plan.
It's the Terminix Kickoff Show, live from Tailgaters Parking.
Let's get back out there.
Brought to you by Gatorade and Clearwater Irrigation.
Okay, it's go time.
On 1010XL.
Hacker here, and guys, the countdown is over. I didn't just hit the 100-pound mark. I blew past it thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. 107 pounds gone just like that. More weight than a quarter keg of beer. Speaking of beer, here's where it gets fun. We're throwing a big celebration at Mr. Chubby's Wings in Ponte Vedra Beach. Yeah, you heard that right. A weight loss party at Mr. Chubby's. The irony's juicier than their wings, but here's the thing. I can celebrate at Mr. Chubby's and still keep the pounds off. If you didn't know, yes, wings are still on the menu while losing weight with Awaken 180 weight loss. Join me in 1010XL on November 9th for the Florida and Texas game, and you could win a spot at my table. Food is included. There'll be ticket giveaways and more for the celebration. If I can shed a whole Mr. Chubby and still throw a party at one, what's holding you back? Call Awaken 180, 844-346-1800, or hit up Awaken180weightloss.com, and let's get it done.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees, and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, I tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Regular movement is key to so many health benefits. Aim for at least 10,000 steps a day. Decide to only take the stairs if you're walking less than 6th floor. Never park in the first 10 spaces of the parking lot. Walk during your work breaks. Get up 10 minutes earlier in the morning and take a short, brisk walk before the chaos of the day starts. There are so many easy ways to stay active. Let's get moving, Jacksonville.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and it is hot out there. You know that, Greg, but Honda has a plan for you on or off the road.
They do. There's a ton of Honda scooters, Honda mini motos, great for the beach. Also get you out in the woods with a Honda side-by-side. Plenty to do and stay cool.
Yeah, four-wheelers, and you can trick them out.
We can. From stereo systems to big builds, we do it all.
Everything's there for you to see. CyclesOfJacksonville.com online or on Atlantic near Regency. Check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida State, Miami, Saturday night down in South Florida. A 21-point line is what this game opened up as. Florida State 1-6 on the year. Of course, Miami a perfect 7-0 on the season. Our guy when it comes to the Miami Hurricanes is Adam Lichtenstein of the South Florida Sun Sentinel. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Adam, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Watching a lot of good football, which is, always a good time. Nice change of pace from the last couple of years.
Look, there's no doubt about that. Look, you and I talked this offseason, and we knew the pressure that was on Mario Cristobal coming into year number 3. And now here we are, 7-0, ranked in the top 10 in America. Granted, the last couple of wins have come with, some biting of fingernails in the fourth quarter for Hurricane fans, but they've won every game. I imagine everybody down there has got to be very pleased right now.
Yeah, it's the first time they're 7-0 since 2017. That year they started the year 10-0, had a big win over Notre Dame. Everyone's very excited. Obviously, when you have a quarterback like Cam Ward, who is a Heisman frontrunner, it's gets attention. You see people from the high school level to the NFL level doing his celebration. Like, there's a lot of excitement around the team right now.
The crazy thing about Cam Ward, and we've seen this in college football, there's a transfer that comes in with a lot of hype, and it just simply doesn't work out for whatever reason. Cam Ward came in with a lot of hype, and he might even be surpassing that hype. I think if they award the Heisman Trophy today, Cam Ward's the winner of that trophy. Just talk about his performance so far. It's been incredible.
Yeah, I've said it in other interviews before, but watching him play quarterback, it's like watching a conductor, run an orchestra. Like, he just knows exactly where to go. He knows when and where guys are going to come open. When, he's able to extend the play, escape the pocket, keep plays going, and we've seen that in some spectacular ways, like against Virginia Tech, where he, dodges 2 sacks and just tosses the ball like a chest pass for a long first down. It's been stunning. I mean, he's done almost everything right. He does have a couple of mistakes, couple of interceptions here and there, but when you have a quarterback like him who plays like his style, he's going to make some mistakes, but more often than not, you're going to get the big play and not the turnover. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's gone probably even better than I think anyone expected. Like, I think everyone thought he'd be pretty good. He's been phenomenal.
Adam Lichtenstein of the South Florida Sun Sentinel here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. You talk about the skill position guys, too, the wide receivers, the running game. That offense has had it all clicking around Cam Ward this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's an offense that doesn't really have a hole. I mean, the running backs, they've got a stable of guys. We saw Damian Martinez have a bit of a breakout game against Louisville. He's a power runner. You could see that when he was carrying half the Louisville defense on his back, and he still was fighting and got over the goal line. Mark Fletcher, really talented guy. I've been watching him since he was in high school. Also a big running back, almost built like a linebacker, but you wouldn't know it from how fast he is. He's a great back. You saw A.J. Allen get a touchdown, like Chris Johnson and Jordan Lyle have been effective out of the backfield, and then the receivers have just been fantastic. I mean, it starts with Restrepo, the slot receiver, one of the top receivers in the country, in terms of yardage, one of the top receivers in program history in terms of yardage, which is pretty crazy when you think about it, considering, some of the receivers that have come through Andre Johnson and Reggie Wayne, Santana Moss, and, Michael Irvin, all these guys. And Restrepo is currently he's number 4 all time in receiving yards at He'll probably get to number 1 by the end of the year, assuming he stays healthy, because he's only maybe 200 or so yards, I think, behind Santana Moss for number 1. And then Jacoby George, Sam Brown, Isaiah Horton, all have had very good seasons so far. The tight ends are great. Like it's kind of a embarrassment of riches on the offense. They've got weapons everywhere.
Adam, as good as the offense has been, and it has been good, and it's needed to be good because they've had to outscore their last 3 opponents. Defensively, it has not been sunshine and rainbows for the Hurricanes. How much of a concern is that going into the latter part of the regular season, and certainly if they enter the college football playoff?
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. Especially the last 2 games against Cal, where they gave up 38 points, against Louisville, where they gave up 45. Now, Louisville, that's a top 20 offense in its own right. Tyler Shuck is very good. Jeff Brom is probably, I would say, maybe a top 10 or so offensive coach in the country. He's a great play caller. So I'm not surprised Louisville put up points. Obviously, you don't want to give up 45 against anyone, but, like Alonzo Highsmith said after the game, you're going to win 100% of the games where you score more points than your opponent. So it's a concern, and when they face, a quality offense like they would in the playoff or in the ACC title game against potentially someone like Clemson, like they need to do better, especially in the secondary. But you're scoring 50 points a game, you should win pretty much every game.
Couple of more for Adam Lichtenstein, South Florida Sun Sentinel, talking Miami as the Hurricanes host Florida State on Saturday night. Adam, there is something to be said for winning close games, right? That's the glass half full approach. They've won all their close ball games. If you want to be glass half empty, it's kind of playing with fire, right? At some point, one of those bounces is not going to go your way, or at some point, something's not going to happen the way it has previously if you keep playing these close ball games. So it's kind of a good and a bad, right? They're winning these close games, but, man, they've been in an awful lot of them, and the law of averages might not work out for, moving forward.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, winning is a skill. Just getting to the point where you can be in position to win is impressive. And the cliches are true, like, about this team. They are resilient. They played to the last whistle. They were down 25 points in the second half to Cal, and I don't know how many teams in the country against anyone can come back from a 25-point second-half deficit, and they were able to do it. And that's a testament to the team culture and their ability, especially on offense. But like you said, you can only pull a rabbit out of a hat so many times. I think a big thing against Louisville was that they didn't get into a hole to start. They were in a shootout the whole way through, and they only trailed for about 2 minutes in that game compared to trailing for basically the whole game against Cal. You want to win every game by as much as you can, of course. But yeah, like you said, it is impressive pulled out these tight wins because like I said, it's a testament to the culture that Mario Cristobal's built It shows that they are resilient. They do fight, and that's something that not every team can say.
Adam, Florida State is awful. I kept waiting for them to turn the corner, but about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I just gave up on waiting. They're awful. They're 1-6, and quite frankly, they're lucky to have the 1. They very easily could be 0-7. They're a 3-touchdown underdog. Their offensive line is horrendous. Their quarterbacks, they don't really know what they're doing with either young guy. They were rotating them back and forth against Duke. I mean, on paper, this looks like this could be really bad for Florida State on Saturday night. What's the thought in Coral Gables about the Noles coming in?
Well, I mean, the team, they respect every opponent. At least that's what they tell us publicly. They respect everyone. They don't look past anybody. And you can't look past FSU. I don't care what their record is. You can't look past them. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a hyped-up environment. It's a big rivalry game. I will say, you can take the cliches like, throw the record book out the window and, you never know what's going to happen in the rivalry game. In my opinion, you can throw those out the window for this game. I mean, FSU has, they're arguably the worst team in the Power Four. Their offense is dreadful. I think it's third worst in the country in FBS. Like, it's awful. And if you can't score, you can't win. And you take the worst offense in the country, or one of the worst offenses in the country, and match it up with one of the best offenses in the country. It should be I think the 3-touchdown spread is probably accurate. I think Miami probably wins by more than that. Because even the FSU defense, while a better unit than the offense has been, is still about middle of the pack nationally. It's not great. It's been okay. So I just, as much as I would love to buy into the rivalry game aspect of things, and it's part of the reason why we all love college football, where crazy things happen. On paper, my brain, I can't see a way Florida State keeps it close, let alone pulls off an upset.
Final moments with Adam Lichtenstein of the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Adam, as we begin to wrap up, Mario Cristobal is a former Miami player. Obviously, there's probably not a lot of love lost for Florida State. Florida State is down. There'll be a lot of recruits in that stadium on Saturday night. I mean, is Miami gonna look to make a statement? I mean, if they can run it up a little bit, do you think they will?
I mean, Mario Cristobal will never say this publicly, but I wouldn't be shocked if that's exactly the case. I've had someone pulled up an old tweet of mine from 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, FSU blew out Miami at Hard Rock Stadium, won 45-3. The game was never close. And after the game, Mario got asked if he thought FSU was running up the score. And he said something to the effect of, "It doesn't matter. I don't really care. It's our job to stop them. It's their job to score. And one day the shoe will be on the other foot." Saturday might be that day. They're not going to stop their offense from playing just because they're up 40 points. They might put in their backups, but they're going to still let their backups play. So I wouldn't be shocked if, somewhere in his subconscious, Mario wants to put up 60 points. I think he wants his team to play as well as possible regardless, and he's not going to put the brakes on. He's going to let them play, and he's going to run his offense, whether Cam Ward is still in the fourth quarter or whether it's, Reese Poffenbarger or Emory Williams playing at the end. He's going to let them play, and if they score 60, then so be it.
Adam, final question. We got 2 minutes to go. With the remaining schedule for Miami, I mean, we're at the point now, right, where it would be a horrific disappointment, if not a failure, that they're not in the college football playoff, correct?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you look at their schedule going forward, they should be favored in every game. You got FSU, who, like we've talked about, I think that game's not going to be close. You have Duke, which narrative-wise is super interesting because you have Manny Diaz, who's got a pretty solid team at Duke. They're 6-1. They may not be ranked or have an amazing team. They've pulled off some close wins with bad teams, but they're 6-1. And to have him come back into Hard Rock after being fired in favor of Mario Cristobal, it's an interesting narrative. After that, you got road game against Georgia Tech, who's a tough team, but I don't think they're an excellent team. You got a home game against Wake Forest, who's also one of the worst teams in the AACC, and then you close out the year with a road game against Syracuse. And of all those games, I think the Syracuse and Georgia Tech games are probably the toughest. They both have quarterbacks who can move the ball. Haynes King at Georgia Tech and Kyle McCord up at Syracuse. So, are strengths of those teams against the weakness of Miami. But again, when you're having an offense like UM and you're scoring 50 points a game, it's very, very difficult to keep up with that, even if you have a good offense, because you need a great offense or a great defense to stop this Hurricane team.
Adam Lichtenstein, South Florida Sun Sentinel, Florida State and Miami, Saturday night down in Coral Gables. Adam, appreciate the time. Know you're busy this week. Thank you, and we'll talk again soon, man.
Anytime.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
And thank you to Adam Lichtenstein of the South Florida Sun Sentinel for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark to give you the Miami Hurricane perspective of the ball game down in Coral Gables Saturday night. Of course, Miami, a 21-plus point favorite against Florida State, 1-6 Florida State against undefeated Miami. On paper, doesn't look like it's going to be much of a game. Games are not played on paper, although, man, I don't know how Florida State keeps this close. Miami's really good. Their offense is dynamic. Their defensive line is tenacious. And Florida State's playing inexperienced quarterbacks. Their offensive line isn't any good. We'll see. Hopefully it's a competitive game at least on Saturday night, but I would not hold my breath if I was a Florida State fan. We also got the Florida State perspective on this game as well. Again, they will officially, I guess, be eliminated from bowl consideration with a loss on Saturday. And again, it's just been a disaster for FSU. You think about 13-0, ACC champions at the beginning of December, and now here we are less than 11 months later, 1-6, and arguably the worst Power 4 team in America right now, certainly in the conversation. It's been a wild change of events there in Tallahassee. We certainly spent some time on that, spent some time on the NBA. How about my Orlando Magic last night? Big victory over the Miami Heat. Love that. Orlando off to a 1-0 start. Paolo Banchero looked terrific. NBA season tips off this week. The marathon that is, and I absolutely love it. And, of course, we spent some time on the Jaguars and the Packers earlier on. I've tried to get there all week. I've done my best. But at the end of the day, they got to show me against a good team at home. Every time they've played a big home game in the last calendar year, the Jaguars have fallen flat on their face. I think Green Bay gets it done on Sunday, and I truly, truly hope I'm wrong. Well, that'll just about do it, man. It has been a very, very busy Thursday night here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Adam Lichtenstein, South Florida Sun Sentinel, talking Miami. We also got the Florida State perspective of Logan Robinson from Knoll Game Day. Appreciate both Logan and Adam joining me tonight. Thank you to Trevor Lane of the NBA Front Office Show. Trevor is certainly one of our guys when we talk NBA here on Hacker After Dark, and we appreciate Trevor taking time out for us. And back in hour number one, former Jaguar wide receiver, my buddy Cecil Shorts, joins me every week here on Hacker After Dark as we review New England, looked ahead to Green Bay, and certainly spent a lot of time on both Brian Thomas Jr. and Tank Bigsby. Now, tomorrow night, Hacker After Dark turns into the Friday Night Lights postgame. We will be here tomorrow night under the Friday Night Lights talking to Victoria's head coaches all over Northeast Florida, and we do hope you join us for the Friday Night Lights postgame here tomorrow night on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. And as a reminder, Sunday evening, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Packers go final, here on 1010XL, we will have the fifth quarter for you. The head coach, Dave Campo, the Pro Bowler, Leon Searcy, and yours truly, live from Island Girls Cigar Bar on Gate Parkway. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we'll be lighting up some victory cigars Sunday evening, and we do hope you join us. Island Girls Cigar Bar, Gate Parkway, for the fifth quarter. That program should get underway right about 6 o'clock or so. Again, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Packers go final. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us and your entire week right here on Hacker After Dark. And as we always tell you, and cannot possibly tell you enough, how much we absolutely appreciate it. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Thursday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night under the Friday night lights.